Welcome back to the Cyber 3, where we talk about cybersecurity 3 things at a time. I'm excited to be joined today by John Hammond, Principal Security Researcher at Huntress and all around a great person, who will be giving us his top 3 most clever threat actor tactics that he has seen in an attack. John, thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, hey, thank you so much for having me. Super flattered to be here.
Yeah, it's always great to talk. So let's just jump right into it. John, what's your first most clever tactic that you've seen in an attack by threat actors?
Ooh, all right. Well, if I may, I'd love to probably start kind of broad and zoom in as we go through a little bit more of them. So maybe a softball to kick us off, but I think honestly, even something just like a supply chain attack is clever in its own right. Because look, it's a one-to-many attack. It's a threat actor or an adversary compromising what could very well be, I don't want to say a centralized node, but that's kind of the gist. It's, hey, something that, I don't know, the roots of the tree. Hey, if that's affected, if that's poisoned, well, that it encroaches and moves on and starts to poison all the branches, everything else affected. I like to parallel it to, I don't know, the dominoes fall. You hit one and they all fall over. And we can see this in a lot of examples, whether it's a backup server that's compromised, or even some spooky, scary, like remote monitoring and management tool where, hey, threat actors now have access to not just that host, that server or that original device, but then all the others that it has control and capability to work with. Suddenly it's not just one breach, but what if that expands to others that could be tens, hundreds, thousands even? I think that is a little bit sinister, even just as simple as a supply chain attack.
Right. And I know, I think threat actors have come to realize just the blast radius, I guess, the power of the punch that these types of attacks can hold. So it's definitely a big threat. And I agree with you. And also, when you look at businesses, they may not know sometimes where these types of third-party risks stem from and kind of how the supply chain trickles down and impacts them directly. So that's another piece of it as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think I try to draw this analogy, and I know it maybe sounds silly, but I don't know, you go to the grocery store and you're looking at fruits, vegetables, you're looking at whatever you're going to go grab that, I don't know, could have been grown on a farm, could have been from anywhere, but you don't really know how that was made. You don't know how maybe the animals were raised. You don't know any of the things, how it all comes to life. You just kind of, hey, go with it. You buy it, you purchase it. It's not even a thought in your mind. It's unfortunate sometimes, and just as you said, in those scenarios, maybe organizations or businesses don't know exactly how it could all happen behind the scenes for things that they don't realize could very well be risks.
All right, well, John, what's your second one?
Okay, so now we'll get a little bit more tactical, I hope. I'm trying to get a little bit sharper on, what the hacker might be doing. But if it's all to be sneaky, if it's all to be a little bit clever, I think it's kind of neat, and I don't know if that's the right word for it, when they blend in with what would look like normal traffic or just, hey, normal legitimate communication, whether that's to websites that you trust or just naturally tend to work with, things that are just inherently allowed through the firewall or network infrastructure, whether that's, I don't know, Google websites or Amazon AWS or even GitHub here and there, or if they'll do some clever things like domain fronting. Hey, if they spin up their own website or their own infrastructure, it'll be some typo squatted domain where, hey, maybe an L could very well be referenced as a capital I, or back and forth, some kind of cutesy, clever ways, just to make something look like it is what it normally is, and that's okay, but it's absolutely not. If you peel the onion just a little bit, you can look behind the scenes and see, hey, that is malicious and not traffic or activity that we should be seeing. I think when they get clever and hide and mask in ways that, we just tend to breeze right by, well, it's easy to totally miss it. Flies under the radar.
It's absolutely true. And you think about all the messages and, the email messages, the web pages that you look at every single day. Are you really going to be looking for whether that's, an L or a capital I, or, when you look at these different things, it's so easy really to sneak by that,
I know that sounds very silly again, but I actually saw, kind of just hearkening back to an old trick or technique years ago, maybe 7 or 8, honestly, years ago, but it could very well still be effective. I think when anyone's used to browsing on the internet, or they are on a website and they accidentally, some way, somehow landed an error page, something that says, oh, hey, you found something you shouldn't have found, you're here in a place that doesn't make sense, you get an error 404. Way back when, I think even 2018, there were some actors that would, can we hide a web shell in the 404 page or in the default installation page and the regular, oh, whoops, accidental server error page. No one's going to think to look there just because they say, oh, okay, whatever. Let me just, that's how it is. That's just an error page. But hey, there be dragons.
Yeah, absolutely. That one was was especially insidious because I don't think outside of the cybersecurity industry and even some of those people who might not know about the attack within the industry, it's just so easy to slip by there, And it's just one of many ways that, threat actors are, as you say, hiding in plain sight. So, all right, what's your third?
Ooh, okay. So I don't know. Everyone's got their own thing. Everyone's got something that might maybe raise their eyebrow and say, oh, okay, this threat actor, this hacker's pretty smart. And some that you just, oh, poo-poo, run of the mill, just regular commodity adversary. But when we get to the conversation of like APT or advanced persistent threat, we've been able to chase a couple of those here and there. But one thing that we saw that really kind of stuck out was along the same lines of hiding and masquerading and trying to blend in, but actually with something totally new, totally novel, something completely custom. A lot of folks tend to say steganography, and that's whole field of, again, hiding or masking information or data. So APT, I think it was 32, APT 32, Ocean Lotus was saying, look, let's have our payloads really just be simple, benign images or pictures, just like you would have an icon for a website or even a program that you run, or anything that might just display as a banner or logo here and there. Stuff, again, you just breeze right by. But hacker adversary, will include the payloads, the malware that they'll run, the next stager and dropper, whatever, as encrypted data nestled throughout and with an implementation, their own custom algorithm to hide it in the picture, which again is, wow, that took a little extra clever thought. They're being a little bit innovative. And if someone didn't look just that close, it's not something you recognize.
Yeah, that one is almost similar to the one you said before because it really feeds into this. Threat actors are trying to make it more difficult to detect these attacks, and they're doing a really good job in trying to kind of tweak all their techniques to really get by and not rouse suspicion. So that's a good one too. All right, well, John, thank you so much for walking us through these 3 clever tactics that you're seeing from threat actors. It was really good to hear your 3.
Thank you so much. Honestly, I think it all boils down to, hey, the biggest impact you can get with the sneakiest, most sly and clever ways you can get it.
Absolutely. Sounds great. And thank you so much to all of our listeners for listening. Do you agree? What tactics are you seeing that threat actors are relying on that you think are really clever? And add your own in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and share if you found this interesting. This is the Cyber 3 signing off.